If you've already booked tickets to check out some of these places, you don't need to cancel just yet, but consider yourself warned. Not everywhere in the world is going to appreciate you coming to their town or city just because you're spending a few bucks here and there. Some historical cities across the world are getting fed up with soaring prices of housing due to Airbnb rentals and the demand for people wanting to go there. From towns that used to be peaceful to areas where tourists are to blame for an economic decline, here are places that locals don't want you to visit. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host, American Eye. But first, I'd like to give a quick shout over here to these commenters for leaving us these awesome comments. Be sure to leave us your thoughts in the comments below, and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Number 11. Beppu Hells, Japan. These bodies of water in Japan are designated as a place of scenic beauty, but many would argue that it looks more like the pits of hell. Not only can this hot spring in Japan turn completely red, it also reaches boiling temperatures, and swimmers aren't recommended to jump in. Many wouldn't exactly call these hot springs, which are really more like steaming puddles. The heat gets pretty intense from geothermal activity, and the Beppu Hells are the second largest source of this right after Yellowstone. However, if you have some tattoos, you might not be welcome here. This is because they believe people who got tattoos have wanted to change the way they were originally created. Tourists who show any kind of Buddhist tattoo might make some feel as though you are seriously disrespecting their religion. Number 10. The Fii Islands. The Fii Islands are home to some of Thailand's most popular beaches by tourists, but until recently, as of June 1st, Thailand has temporarily banned visitors from flocking to their shores. The government plans on giving the land a little bit of a break in order to let the ecosystem make a rebound, so tourists can enjoy it someday in the future. During this break, the marine environment will be closely studied, and conditions of the beach will be also looked at to see how tourism is making an impact. The national park on the island is currently shut down from visitors, and it receives as many as 2.4 million visitors each year. Maybe Thailand is trying to come up with a marketing ploy by telling people that they can't come here? Beautiful beaches in places like the Philippines have been known to be shut down once the crystal clear waters begin to turn into a cesspool. Many involved in the tourist industry may have to find another job until people are allowed again. What's your favorite Thai food? Let us know in the comments section and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Number 9. Venice. Some predict that by year 2030, there will be no more native Venetians in the city of Venice as rent rises and the quality of living gets lower. Many remarkable monuments have been constructed here, and this city showcases some of the most unique feats of architecture and artwork, but the locals don't want you here. The city is literally sinking into the water as we're speaking, and the tourism certainly isn't making anything any better. The soil in which the city was built on isn't very firm, and it seems to be a question of when rather than if it's going to happen. Italian officials are doing all they can to fix it, but it just appears to be a lost cause. There is now a large list of typical tourist things that you're not allowed to do here anymore. A few of them include building sandcastles, sitting on the ground and eating, or drinking when not in a cafe. Number 8. Barcelona. Barcelona is starting to realize that tourism can destroy cultural values and have started off by making it harder for tourists to get an online booking at Airbnb. When tourism in the area starts to increase the value on a certain area, hotels, cafes, and gift shops will slowly start to pop up, and as that happens, the rent price goes through the roof. Tourists are just simply taking up too much space sometimes in the busy streets, and people have to make their living catering to these often rude tourists. Tourism workers in the city began to protest, demanding higher wages over the past few years. Then when those tourists might end up being your next-door neighbors from Airbnb rentals, locals will get fed up. The locals of the town are getting tired of it, and some tourist-style bus was actually attacked by vandals. In 2016, Airbnb was hit with a fine that remains unpaid for $600,000 due to unlicensed apartments. While tourism can appear to be a sign of a good economy, in the long run, it appears to have its consequences down the line. Number 7. Amsterdam. With Amsterdam having very lenient laws on many different things, it seems to make sense that they're going to have some pretty good parties and lots of tourists from time to time in the capital city of the Netherlands. However, some of these lenient laws have led to seedy people coming to town and unaffordable rent in the historical city center. Amsterdam is following a similar trend to Barcelona and Venice when it comes to tourism. The tourism problem is getting so out of control that even tourists are complaining about it. In fact, it's gotten to the point where they are no longer advertising for tourists to come here. In recent times, the mayor has spoken out, claiming to want to drastically reduce the number of tourists in the city. Understanding that so many people want to come and visit Amsterdam, they're asking the ones that do go there to behave themselves as best as possible. Number 6. Uluru or Ayers Rock. This iconic image from the middle of Australia is actually a very sacred location for the Aboriginal people on this continent. It wasn't discovered by European explorers until the 1800s. Although people have been climbing this mountain for ages, the Aboriginals would prefer you didn't go there. The tribe's people believe that it was made by dreams of ancestral beings. The strange cave formation seemed to support this theory in their opinion. If you look at it closely, it really just seems to pop out of nowhere and looks like one single rock. Rising 346 meters high, you can see why this might be looked at as a sacred site. Number 5. Cinque Terre. Possibly one of the most colorful places around the world is the beautiful Italian village known as Cinque Terre. Located in northeastern Italy, Cinque Terre translates to 5 lands and is certainly home to more than 5 colors. The area used to get bombarded with tourists during summertime and could attract 2.5 million visitors during this time of year, calling it Disneyland for adults. The charming little region on the end of the Mediterranean can only accommodate so many people, to the point where pollution, erosion, and breathing space become an issue. The number of tourists allowed to come here was reduced to 1 million in order to combat some of the issues of too much tourism, but even that could be pushing the limit. Number 4. Oxford, England. Small cities that turn into international tourist attractions often become impossible to live in, as we just saw, and the truth appears to be the same for Oxford, England. The city of Oxford is not located too far from the capital city of London to the west and is home to the world's oldest English-speaking university. It can receive over 500,000 visitors each year, which some claim is just too much. Now in modern times, it was deemed as a touristic hell by the mayor as the quiet college town began to transform into another gift shop hotspot. Medieval-style cities tend to lose its charm once everyone starts walking around with selfie sticks and wearing fanny packs. A few measures have been made, which include banning buses and taxis from Queen Street. Number 3. Santorini. One of the most popular islands to get away to in Europe is without a doubt Santorini. Tourists fall in love with the deep blue seas created from the waters around this mysterious island. This is basically what remains of an enormous volcanic eruption that might have been the one that devastated the Minoan civilization or even Atlantis. A similar eruption in tourism has seemingly happened in recent times and of course causing a ruckus. Constructing pearl white buildings along the cliffside of the volcanic rocks are somewhat of a dangerous decision by the locals in case of an earthquake, but it certainly seems as though it's not keeping anyone from coming here. The tourism board declared that only 8,000 people will be allowed to visit it each day, which still seems like a lot. Number 2. Capri. The island of Capri welcomes about 2 million tourists each year, but similar to other places in Italy, it's beginning to get overcrowded. This is also a great place to explore mysterious grottos and caves that are found all over the island. Here we see the Blue Grotto that wasn't discovered until the 19th century and always has a magical shade of blue to it. The natural beauty of this place off the west coast of Italy has not gone unnoticed by any means and can receive 10,000 tourists a day. This is a huge destination for both Italians and foreigners as a popular resort island. If you can afford a yacht, this would certainly be a great place to get to. The island itself is only about 10 square kilometers, and if things continue the way they are, they might face some serious issues. So before we get to our number 1, we'd like to hear from you guys. What tourist destination do you think is the most overrated? Let us know in the comments section, and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. So what places in the US don't appreciate tourists? Good question. According to a study that analyzed tweets across 50 states, the top 3 included Las Vegas, New York City, and somehow Arlington, Texas. That's right, people visit Arlington, Texas more than you'd realize, and since they're from Texas, it's probably best you don't mess with them. It's home to the Cowboys, Texas Rangers, Six Flags Hurricane Harbor, and check out some of the country bars out there too. It's one of the main places to go to when they want to get an authentic taste of Texas, but still get some amenities of touristic places. People who work at travel agencies claim that the Twitter analysis wasn't really a great way to determine who hates the tourists the most. Maybe some people really didn't like the fact that the tourists were taking up so much space while waiting in line for the next roller coaster. Who knows? Seems like a perfect time to tweet in any case.